Hello everybody, Buddy with Midland, Texas. Going to do a little video today called Poisoned in My Home, Stage 5 CKD. And this is a Facebook post from yesterday. This happened yesterday, okay? And it's a short read, and I'm going to go over then the history, and you're going to find this really interesting. There's a super strong chemical smell in the air of my home right now and has been since yesterday, which I call the poison gas. In the past, I told Sheriff Kreiner and the Texas Rangers about this, as I believe it's the cause of my kidney failure, and it's a deliberate, slow, and painful method of murdering me since shooting me and calling it an accident failed. My doctor told me 2 years ago that if I didn't go on dialysis, then I was going to die, but I don't have time to be tied to a machine with criminals breaking into my home every day. I explained to him that I was being poisoned and they have to be stopped or nothing will help anyway. I've had many clear death threats since surviving the murder attempt. Lance Eggleston told me, "We have access to your residence at all times. Nobody will ever believe your story. You will be silenced, not if, but when." Another guy told me, "You have two choices. You can either move or meet God early," and there's many more of them. After I'm dead, I pray that real law enforcement arrests the corrupt police who have obstructed justice and allowed these monsters to slowly kill me inside my own home. Okay, and what I did here was that this is part of my medical records right here. This is my kidney doctor right here, and I'm just showing you that I'm a chronic kidney disease stage 5 right now. Okay, there is no more stages. I'm looking at death. Okay, and I believe 100% caused by these criminals breaking in my home, poisoning me, and because there's an underground home here that's connected to multiple murders. Okay. I said I made a video about this in February called "Gonna Die Anyway," and I put a link there, and y'all can go look that up on my YouTube channel as my next comment. And then I said I made a video about the poison gas in 2017 too. I'm almost dead now, as there's no more stages. Like I said, I'm stage 5, and that's another video you can go look up. Okay. I said, this is a premeditated murder that police are allowing because nobody can tell me that our police are so stupid they don't know that $1 million underground homes are here that can be seen on Google Maps. Okay, and I just went to Google Maps yesterday, 3802 Fair Circle, maps.google.com, and when you look up there, you can see it real clear. Here's my home where I was ambushed and shot. Absolute proof shows I wasn't shot with my gun. Somebody under my home shot and shoots me right here. Multiple people documented saying that tunnels and underground homes are here. One guy was running for sheriff. He's confirmation. I secretly recorded him in my backyard. There's a large building right here that can't be seen from above ground. Obviously, one of the underground homes. I believe that's where the oil show parties were going on. I believe that's where that young girl was murdered at the 2010 oil show party, and then the remains of a young girl were found in 2013. And I'm showing here in this picture, there is no large building in my backyard, and you could drive down my alley. You can look in my backyard. I'd look at my pictures. There is no building, but Google Maps shows a large building in my backyard. And that is one of the underground homes. And I think that's the source of why they're trying to poison me in my home. They're trying to terrorize me out of my home. And why? Because this home is connected to multiple murders. I believe they murdered the guy that lived here before me, who died the week before the 2008 oil show started. Okay. I'll go on to some of these other comments. Okay. Here's, "So sorry, buddy. That's horrible. There's silent holocaust going on all over the planet. They use direct energy weapons and elf wave. I have no idea what that is. That was like nothing. It has nothing to do with my home." And I mentioned that. I said, and then it went on. The gas may be coming in from the toilet or the sewer. And like, no, it's not. I said, there are no ray guns, no electronic weapons here, and the gas isn't coming from the sewer, but from under my home where the $1 million underground homes are located that multiple people have said were here, including Joe Lozano, who is running for sheriff of Midland. Okay, and I have a link to a video called "Proof of Underground Homes," and it's this person documented saying this person documented saying that, this person documented saying that. These are print screens or recorded conversations along with corroborating evidence such as Google Map pictures. Okay, and the crimes at my home, proof that somebody under my home shot me. Rita says, "Good grief, be safe, buddy." I said, "Thank you." I said, "It's amazing I'm still alive." Okay. And I said, it's been suggested this poison gas was an intentional murder attempt and that the criminals are just cooking meth underground. And that is where the dangerous fumes are coming from. That explained the police corruption, too. And, and that is a possibility, but I'm not so sure. I think it's more retribution. I think it's intentional on purpose, okay? And as Sheila here, I believe these assholes are capable of anything. And I said, I'm just as sure. It's just as sure as me paying a private investigator $2,000 to identify the 11 secret police that got caught on camera in my home, or a sheriff candidate recorded as saying that Sheriff Painter used to hide out in the underground homes here. I said there are many incredible facts to this nightmare of crime and corruption. Because a lot of things, here she's going, I believe you. And, and maybe you have to believe me because, you're not here and you have to trust my word. But I'm trying to remind people, look back. I'm the guy that saved up disability money and offered a reward to identify police. The first time in the history of America, a crime victim offered a reward to identify police. I'm the guy that recorded a guy running for sheriff saying that our last sheriff used to hang out in the underground homes here. So when I tell you I'm being poisoned in my home, I'm being poisoned in my home, And she says, oh yeah, they plan to get away with murder and we're going to laugh all the way to the bank. I said that. I have a feeling they've done this many times, And, okay. And here's the next comment. I said, use my email as a journal, and I did a search for poison gas. This is some of the emails that match that criteria. This is an older one, too. And so what I do is, I'll create an email called Crime Log and put the date on it. Okay, then we're back from 20. So that was a year ago. Some of these are 2019. Okay, so smelled poison gas back in 2019. Okay, different dates. Okay, this don't go on. I mean, it might go on months and I not smell it, but it's always the same exact chemical smell. They can turn it on, turn it off, is what it is. And it's nauseous. It gives me a headache. I start feeling it affecting my body. I think if they left it on, I would actually die. I think this is what is taking my kidneys out, is this poison gas or chemical smell that they're intentionally releasing under my home. Okay. And then I went on here, one more. I said, I sent this email to Sheriff Conner and the Texas Rangers a year ago, okay? And September 10th, 2020, 6:29 a.m. I said, Sheriff Conner, I've been sending myself emails for a long time titled Crime Log to document what's been going on. And this one day was about the poison gas smell. As you'll read, I'm talking about being poisoned by the criminals that are repeatedly breaking into this home, and this has happened on and off for a very long time. As you know, the previous owner, Mike Lawhon, was telling his friends about break-ins here before he died. There are many proofs of the burglaries here, and also at many other homes that are rigged like this one. There's proof that they've already tried to kill me, and proof of many death threats, along with many proofs of repeated break-ins to this home. It should be clear they're conspiring with some corrupt law enforcement who has looked the other way when crimes are committed against me so as to terrorize me into selling my home at the price they want, of course, after they failed to get it when they cut my phone lines and shot me on January 28, 2012. They want me out of my home, dead or alive. The problem is this is America. I worked all of my life, saved my money, and bought my home. They have no right to it just because they want it. I think it would be an insult to your intelligence to suggest that you don't know there are tunnels under this home connected to underground homes that were used for oil show parties. I patiently waited for you to do your investigation and arrest these criminals. There are many people who I believe would tell you where the entrances are, and they include the woman who told me there were 4 3-bedroom $1 million underground homes here buried at least 25 foot deep, costing over $1 million each, and they were having pedophile parties down there. You could talk to Rhonda Denman Rogers that told me an underground facility is half a block away. You could talk to Layla O'Brien, who said that she worked on this project, was called Safe Houses, and was finished in 1987 with a budget of $7.35 million. You could talk to recent sheriff candidate Joe Lozano, who I recorded as saying these underground homes was a hideout for Sheriff Painter. You could talk to former MPD Lieutenant Dickey, who was inside my home at 11:05 on January 28, 2012, but he wasn't seen arriving on the security cameras that saw Woodward and Naylor arriving. You could talk to MPD officers Davis, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale were also listed on the police report as being at my home without being seen on the cameras. You could ask former Martin County Sheriff John Woodward, who was the first person seen in my home after I survived being ambushed and shot with my phone line's cut. You could ask MPD Officer Rosie Rodriguez, who met me at the 7-Eleven after I called out, and then she said she wasn't there. Or Officer April Chandler, who said that she climbed in my truck at the 7-Eleven when it was Rosie that had done that. You can ask Angie Magia, who was at the 2010 Oil Show party where the young girl was murdered, or ask Donna Meadows, who asked Angie what time she got home from the 2010 Oil Show party. You could talk to my neighbor, Eli Vargas, who was caught lying on police reports about me slashing their tires and had a suspected tunnel entrance in his backyard. You could even ask Homeland Security Agent Paul, who I showed where I believe the tunnel was located behind my home 2 weeks before the ground was dug up and concrete was poured. If you choose to look the other way and they successfully murder me, as I've been promised, then I pray that you arrest every law enforcement officer that has obstructed justice and charge them as an accessory to my murder. My doctor told me that I was going to die, and unless he is lying, which wouldn't surprise me, then it looks like they've already killed me. I'm telling God, buddy. Okay, and there's the print screen of that email that I sent. I sent 100 emails after Sheriff David Kreiner was elected to sheriff. I sent 100 emails from May 2020 to May 21, and I finally quit. 100 fact-filled emails. There can be no doubt. Okay, I'm going to back on down a little bit further, and this might have been what caused the cause of trying to poison me yesterday, because I was posting, this on Facebook. One here 18 hours ago, very loud noise just heard on the far east side of my home and believed to be from the underground home there, not the first time. I posted that yesterday. A little bit later, poison gas starts filling my house. But I it was more than just Buddy saying that. I started putting, these evidence files here. I said, Google Maps is showing a large building in my backyard where that loud noise came from that can't be seen from above ground. This is obviously one of the 4 3-bedroom $1 million homes that multiple people have said were here and is believed to have been installed in 87 for George H.W. Bush. He was Vice President of the United States. It's also where it's believed the famous and wild oil show parties were held in 2010. My friend Angie told me about a young girl being murdered at one of those oil show parties, and the remains of a young girl were found outside of Midland in 2013. The previous owner suspected of being murdered here the week before the 2008 oil show started. Last year, I secretly recorded Sheriff candidate Joe Lozano telling me that these underground homes was the hideout of the late Sheriff Gary Painter. And I put a link to Google Maps, okay? And so anybody could just click on it and then go to Google Maps, and it links right up to what I was saying. In my backyard, there's a large building there that you can't see from above ground. There's my home, there's the building, and you can't see that from above ground. And to make that easier, I took a print screen and I pointed it out for everybody. Here, I pointed a big old arrow to it. Here's where they murdered that little girl. In case you're a police officer trying to pretend that you're an upholder of the law, but you're really trying to cover up the murders in underground homes. Here's an arrow pointing to where it's at. Okay, it should be pretty clear, right? That's all there is to it. It's what I told Kreiner. I would insult your intelligence to suggest that you don't know there's underground homes here used for capital murders. Tisha told me the oil show parties are in the underground homes, which confirmed what I thought. This was where they murdered that young girl at the 2010 oil show party that Angie was at. Okay, so here's more confirmation. It's like more confirmation upon more confirmation. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to all good law enforcement that are actually trying to stop murders and uphold the law. Here, they're part of it. It's just nuts what's going on here. And Tisha Ann Wilkinson's here. I've had friends and been involved in those oil show parties. They're exactly what you say. They are underground homes, right? And guess where they're at? Right here. Multiple people said they're here. You can see it on Google Maps. I believe this is the girl that was murdered at the underground oil show party in 2010. Just as a Crime Stoppers. The Texas Ranger had been working on this cold case, and through DNA analysis, the remains have identified as a black girl rather than a white or Hispanic female as originally thought. That's recent, in July 26, And one thing I wondered about that, now that it's a black girl, maybe they're going, oh, it's okay, it's a black girl. If it's a black girl, then it's okay to murder a black girl, right? I even asked that question. Is that what that was about? And, is that what they're doing? Because we know where she's murdered. She's murdered in these underground homes at them oil show parties, and what are they doing? They're poisoning the homeowner. Okay. And maybe that's why. Here's a super, I'm not even going to read this one, but great question. Did you meet the owner when you purchased the home? How did you find this particular home? I could have sworn you mentioned it. Okay, and she's asking me how I got in this home. This is a kind of a long read. Let's see how much time we got. I can do it real quick. I said, good question, Audrey. And no, I didn't meet the previous owners of this home, Mike and Sarah Lawn, as I was going through a realtor, Janine Pruitt. Here's what happened. I'm talking about when I first moved here. A man named Dane Wiggins that worked for my company contacted me at work and asked me to look at a new job that was being created here in Midland. When I looked at it, I saw that it wasn't a promotion, so I didn't even consider bidding on it. Dane called me back and surprised and asked me why, so I told him that moving from my hometown was a big deal and I was happy where I was at. He then goes back to HR and has this job raised to a promotion, and they rebid it for me. Okay. I spoke with family and friends who told me they thought this was a good idea. And since I was a new empty nester and single, I made the life-changing decision to move. Those are the same family and friends that turned their back on me after I survived the murder attempt with no given reason. By the way, Dane would later become my boss here in Midland, and I now highly suspect he knew about this home. He knew this home was rigged and about the underground oil show parties that were in the backyard, which I suspect people in my company were involved with. He was laid off after I survived the murder attempt. So that's somebody else law enforcement talked to, Dane Wiggins, and asked him if he knows about oil show parties. You know, I work for a gas company. Anyway, there was a salesman named Kurt Westerman, who is no longer alive, that told me his friend Greg Harris was selling his home at 4201 Todd Road. This home was not listed on the market and was a for sale by owner. I drove to Midland and met Greg, and we made a handshake deal for me to buy his home. I was going to pay him cash when my home in Hobbs sold, and that was guaranteed because I had a signed relocation agreement with my company. My company would buy my Hobbs home if it didn't sell on the market. Right before my Hobbs home sold, Greg told me that he broke our deal and sold his home to another guy that knocked on his door out of the blue and offered a little bit more than we'd agreed upon. I felt like my deal had been sabotaged by somebody since his home wasn't listed on the market and there wasn't a for sale sign on the home, but I'd only told family and friends, the same ones that don't talk to me. The Midland County Appraisal District told me the name of the guy that bought that home was a guy named Marini Molinar. Okay. This is when I got a realtor, Janine Pruitt, who showed me this home and several others. She somehow knew this home was going to be on the market before it was listed, and she was the person that told me Mike and Sarah was going through a divorce and that Mike was incarcerated for drugs. Janine brought me here to look at this home on October 1st, 2008, and this is when I got the pictures, which I posted online. I made a bid on this house, but Mike and Sarah declined it, and they made a counteroffer. I overnighted my earnest money to Janine to accept this offer, but then changed my mind and called her and told her that I didn't want to buy this home as I felt like it was more money than I wanted to pay. Plus, I was upset about getting ripped off from the first home on Todd Road. A couple of weeks later, Janine calls and tells me that Mike died of an accidental overdose. Of course, I had no reason to suspect that he'd been murdered, but I'm sure of that now. She said that Sarah would drop the price if I would agree to buy this home. I thought it was my good fortune at the time. After I survived the murder attempt, I drove out by the home on Todd Road one day, and I was surprised to see a car parked in front of it that I'd seen parked in my small cul-de-sac many times. It had messed up tin on the window, so I was sure it was the same car, and I had suspected that whoever was driving it was connected to the crimes at my home, since I didn't think it was owned by any of the other 8 homeowners in my cul-de-sac. Okay? There was a car in front of this home on Fair Circle, and I saw that same car parked out there in front of that Todd Road house. Okay, 4 years later, after the murder attempt. I found this picture on Google Street Maps of the home on Todd Road, and that burgundy truck parked there looks exactly like a truck that my next door neighbor used to own. This is the neighbor with the 2 teenage boys and had the suspected tunnel entrance in the backyard. I now feel like I was tricked and lured over here to Midland to be murdered here, and it wasn't one person but multiple people in this crime ring. And since I believe they murdered Mike Lahan, it looks like they're killing one homeowner after another. I've wondered if this criminal gang is doing this at all the other rigged homes too. Law enforcement should be asking Dane Wiggins, Janine Pruitt, Greg Harris, Rini Molinar, and Sarah Lawn what they know about this home on Fair Circle being rigged and or the oil show parties in $1 million underground homes. And this was that picture from the Todd Rudd home from Google Street Maps, and that was that truck that looked like the neighbor's truck from next door, parked at this house. And I guess this guy was a trucker. I wondered if this guy trucked behind Home Depot, Reading Molinar is his name. Okay. And then finally yesterday, and this got posted on a little video, but it was on YouTube, and I was showing when I woke up yesterday morning, there was a light on in my attic. Of course, this has only happened, 10,000 times that I've had multiple burglar system, multiple alarm systems, and light on the attic. And here is a story, conversation between Rayette and myself. I'm just going to skip all that. And here, what I was showing here, I think that's running. All right, here, let me flip the... Basically, my point now, above the TV, there's a hole where the wires go through. There we go. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm saying, hey, look, there's a light. And when I turn the light off, you can see the light there. Okay, that was the point I was making. And it was showing you that there's a motion-activated security light on in my attic yesterday. There was a person in my house. And remember, that's when poison got released in my house yesterday. So I'm posting this, and then I'm posting about the tunnels over there. And next thing I know, I'm getting poison in my house, And is this some kind of security device you have? That's what I'm asked. I said, this is a motion-activated security alarm. I said, it goes on when somebody gets in front of it, but I've had multiple systems, multiple times. I said, here, and I started posting videos. Burglar goes off in the attic when I'm taking a bath, and I post this video right here. I'm taking a picture of my foot in the bathtub, and all of a sudden the alarm goes off. There it is. Hear it? See the burglar alarm. Happened hundreds of times. This video was 2015. Okay, and and that was the point there. Here's 2016. Burglar alarm goes off with Jordan here. Second time today. That's Jordan talking. And here we're looking at the cameras in the attic, and there's dust falling from the roof on a windless day.
There it is right there. Okay.
And these are just few examples. There's hundreds of these. Okay. Vivint security system dispatched the police to my attic. I'm not going to play this one because I think it's too long. The phone call's in here somewhere, but basically Christmas Day, the Vivint security system, my attic recognizes someone in the attic, and I'm talking to them over the box on the wall, and I'm recording it. And it happened before because Vivint had dispatched the police to my house twice in 2012 because they recognized somebody was here. It's valid, right? And then the police got here, refused to go up there and look, called me crazy on the police report. And then I get letters from the city saying they're going to fine me for any more false reports, and the police refused to look. Obviously, they knew about the underground homes and the murders and the parties, and they were just covering it up. That's what was going on. This video is from a phone call with another homeowner here in Midland. Was reporting people in that. And I don't know if I want to play this one because it's a little too long. 20 minutes. See if I can get to the point where she's talking.
And her mom called the police.
This is Jennifer. This is a house.
I know that.
There she is. She's crying.
I was hoping I stopped until we could get some sleep, and I could tell it was pretty fragile.
And in this call, you can hear her burglar alarms going off. That's the reason I added this one, because her burglar alarms are going off, and I record it because I'm recording a phone call. She's crying and going, "I'm so freaking scared." She told me the police come to her house and laughed at her, and these crimes are going on all over the place. She's and she's terrorized. She's afraid they're going to kill her, and I'm very worried about that because these are killers. They're secret police protected killers. That's what they are. Okay. After I crawled out and survived being shot by surprise, my phone lines got the ER nurse documenting me saying the alarms kept going off. And these were burglar alarms that I installed in my attic. This is the nurse's notes here on the bottom where it shows it. There are sirens going off. The alarms kept going off. So I'm just showing you just a little bit of the many burglar alarms. And you know, well, why did you put in the cameras? I did put cameras, prove they were hacked, provided that to law enforcement too. It's like there is no amount of evidence that is ever enough, you know, because they're playing stupid and letting these crimes and murders continue. That's what's going on, okay? And here, this is amazing. This is typical right here. Why don't you sell your home and move, okay? Oh, man, I'm telling you what. Yeah, that's exactly what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to get me out of this home so they can get back to murdering little girls at underground parties. They're trying to cover up capital murders, and they're trying to terrorize me from a home. That's a violation of the Hobbs Act. And anyway, here's my response. I said, obviously, that is what is best for the killers who have rigged this home and the many others across America. But it doesn't help me at all. But I'm sure they want me to limp off dying and scared so they can get away with murder. Selling my home and moving doesn't clear my name. It doesn't provide me justice, and it doesn't even make me safer. The last owner put this home up for sale, and he was dead 2 weeks later. That shows you that homes don't kill. It's people that do that, and moving doesn't stop them. They can just follow you. I did create a video one time saying that I would sell my home due to the relentless terrorism being allowed by corrupt police, and I set the price at $1 billion, but I had no takers. This was making the point that these criminals not only are trying to terrorize me into selling my home, they are also trying to set the price that I sell my home for too. Because if they want to buy it, just buy it. Cough up $1 billion and buy it. They believe that with their corrupt police friends, they can do this to anybody at any time. They can steal their property, terrorize them from their property. Maybe they want your grandma's wedding ring or your home next. Maybe they want your life insurance when secret police rule your murder an accident. Now, anybody who conspires with this crime ring to entice me to sell my home while I live under the threat of death can be charged under the Hobbs Act, and that carries 20 years in prison, as this is a free country where you're supposed to be able to live where you want, right? Decided to sell my home. That's the video there. That's crazy, friend. Prayers with you. I'm going to end it right there. I'm going to just show you, the poison gas and never stop. It's literally sadistic torture that is going on here. And I believe 100% that this is the cause of the kidney failure right here. This is why I'm chronic kidney disease stage 5. One last thing I didn't add in here. One guy told me that it was on YouTube. He gave me the address of a home in Midland. He said that him and his friends found a tunnel entrance in, and they went into, and it was real nice. And they come, a good ways towards the Home Depot store, right towards my house. And so I looked up the address of that owner, and it was a former kidney doctor of mine. And I thought, oh, ain't that interesting, And I've made videos about that. But I've wondered if the poison gas is to take out your kidneys, because they got a brand new dialysis clinic here. I bet it makes a lot of money, And I was told the secret is a group of doctors are killing people for profit. I just can't get past the police corruption, the public corruption. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.